Yes, guys, it's another episode of Fight Talk Live. It's episode 29, and we're here. How you doing
29.
today?
26, brother.
Is it 26?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's the
We're on.
29th.
It's the 29th on episode
I'm feeling you,
26.
man. I'm
Sorry,
feeling you.
guys. So, yeah, how's it going, everyone?
All good, Danny. Just making the most of this British summer. The all 3 days of it that we're gonna get.
Hmm. It's been an interesting week. I've had a very interesting day already, but show must go on. It's all good. Hope everyone is well. As everyone knows, we haven't been around for a couple of weeks, but there's always stuff to talk about, and I guess no better time than now to talk about it. Red is going to take us through a very, very interesting journey for the next hour or so, I'm pretty sure.
Grace, you're not getting out of this. I want to know what's been good about your week or what's been interesting. You can't just like cliffhanger us like that.
Oh,
What's the world of base?
we can talk after the stream. It's not for stream. Yeah.
Okay, not for streaming. So welcome, good evening to all, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are to all of us. It's glad to be back. We've had a weekend full of British fights for once, which has been good, which is good for us. Not necessarily the main cards as you would call it, but a lot of small horse shows really starting to make noise in the industry. I guess we could start off on Friday with the Warren Boxing Management Box Academy events. I guess that was the first one on Friday. I had the privilege to be on that on comms along with Nardo and Jermaine. Pester was on there. We had a few guests. I like that card a lot, and I'm not saying it because I was there commentating. I liked it because there was a couple of upsets which we can get into, but the matchmaking I thought was good because I just wasn't bored watching the fights, and it was literally chaos. York Hall, intimate setting, hot as hell. Ticket sellers turn up. There was people there. I enjoyed it very much. I suppose we can start off with
Can I just ask before we start, was that
yeah,
your
yeah.
first time at your hall?
No,
Okay.
why did you ask that?
No, because you said hot as hell, so I'm like, oh, like you've never been there
First
before.
time in the summer.
Okay, all right, that
Yes.
makes sense, and
Yeah,
it's
it was
only
like
going to
an
get
oven.
worse. It'll only get worse.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Yeah, it was like an oven. So I felt it for the fighters, not making up excuses, but it was like an oven in that room. But I guess we could start off with Jack Oliphant because I remember him when he signed. Well, sorry, he had his debut with Matchroom. I don't know what the contractual agreements were. I remember he was quite excited to fight for them. You know, had a real good attitude, real good positive buzz about himself, and then he disappeared. And then I think he went over to Frank Warren's side, lost the fight, came back, I think, won. And I think this was his fourth fight that he went into. And obviously, there was a stoppage. I think it was a fighter out of Nick Manners' gym, a German guy, I think it was. If it serves me correctly, I ain't got the sheet in front of me. But yeah, just he didn't look great to start off with. You could see what he was trying to do. But I did say, even on the comms, this guy, this German guy, his opponent, he came to win.
Latvian.
Latvian, I do apologise. He came to win. He reminded me of Dolph Lundgren in his face. He was just in there, and I said, "Yeah, he's not just coming for a payday. He's coming to take his head off." And coincidentally, that knockdown. I don't know, guys. A knockdown. Look, basic science. I guess knockdowns in that heat are going to be a lot worse because of the heat, potential dehydration. Would you say that it's? I don't know, or is that just me thinking too deep about the knockdowns in that place?
Can be if it's late on, but that was the first round, so it is no
Yeah,
dehydration
fair enough.
there.
Yeah, what
um,
did you think of it?
yeah, well, I spoke to Nick Manners the day before or 2 days before. He said he was asking me if I was going down there. I said no, that I was going to have someone down there though. He said that he had a journeyman going down there just to do a move around. And I said, oh, against who? And he said who said the record. I said, oh, you guy could probably put him out of his misery. And he's like, oh no, we're just going down and move around. But I heard he's coming for a war, so we'll see how it goes. I said, yeah, just put him at his misery, and I guess that's what his guy did. He's 8-59, but he saw an opportunity, hit him with a left hook, and down went Jack Oliphant like an
Oh,
elephant, and
yeah.
and that was all she wrote, because the ref had seen enough and waved it off. So Nick Manners came down from Leeds, and yeah, it was a quick, you know, inside job, cash and grab.
Defo, look at Base's face. Go on, Base.
No, nothing. The same way how you treat the American cards is the same way how these small hall ones reach my radar. I saw bits and pieces. I saw like the main part of that, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But I didn't see any of the card. I didn't see the fight. I saw the upset. Obviously, I know the guy was 2-0, and then it was 8:59 or whatever. But more so than anything, outside of all of that, just shout out to you, October, for breaking through that first ceiling. The second one will be soon to come, where you'll be doing the commentary for maybe the before the bell segments, Matchroom or the prelims and all that. Then we'll get you to the main cards. But first step, keep doing your thing. I'd
You
love to
know,
see it.
I appreciate that, but Base, with the American thing, I've got to stop this myth now. The only reason is the time difference. If it was the same time, I'd be watching them the same way. So please, if there's any US viewers, it's not that I'm not interested in the fighters, it's the time difference. There are certain fights I will stay up for. Canelo Crawford, I will set the alarm for that. But otherwise, it's just honestly, it's plain and simple. It's just a time difference.
I have
And
no,
Base,
I say that in jest. I know it's a time difference, but I think what we like to say is at least like try to watch the highlights afterwards, like get involved, especially if it's a big fight weekend. That's all we're
was
saying.
it though?
Well,
Yeah, this
technically,
was a
kind
good
of
card.
there was a lot of stuff that would lead into more stuff from this weekend.
I've watched some of the highlights, not all of them, but
Okay.
some of them. And I've obviously gone on the social media.
Ah,
But you
well,
know what? I'll take accountability because it's all the time it happens. And regarding the ceiling stuff, I appreciate that. I'd be happy doing the Box Academy events forever. I like it. I like that stuff. Somebody else said that to me about the zone before. I don't care. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm happy with the Warren boys because they look after me. I'm nice down there. So yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
What's the next fight that you know what? I want to shout out as well. There's the trainer of Joel Joyce. Forgive me, his name just
Steve
jumps.
Broughton.
Thank you. Tall mixed race guy, and then there's a shorter guy as well. That oh god, what was his name? He's got sort of ginger hair. I can't remember the trainers. He was there with Rambo. What's his fight name? Is it not Abdullah Masood? The one that
Oh,
had 9 years off and he come back in.
Masood Abdullah.
Oh, right, let me get my notes up because his name's in
talk
here.
about Danny Mack.
Nah, it was where's he gone?
Isn't it Masood Abdullah?
Ahmadi.
Oh,
Is it Ramesh Ahmadi? Rambo, bantamweight.
don't
I
know him.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't see that one. Or if I
Yeah,
did, I didn't take note of his name.
yeah. Or it might have been Masood Abdullah actually. I think it was. He
Yeah,
was
it must have
training
been.
him.
Yeah, it must have.
Good work with him.
Oh no, there's Ramesh Ahmadi, and
Yeah,
he fought Jack Pollard.
yeah. I think it was Masood Abdullah. That was a fight that caught my eye.
Yeah, that's Danny Mack. Well, if you talk about the one with the kind of because I know him. He used to train um Elliot Elimasi,
Yes,
and he
him.
and he trains also the heavyweight, the
Who?
one who fought on the Fabio Wardley card and called out
Oh,
Moses.
Nathan Heisa.
Yeah,
He trains him as well.
yeah,
Nelson.
Nelson Heisa, yeah. Apologies. I told you I'm
yeah,
rubbish with names. He's a
yeah,
good trainer.
yeah.
I actually think he's all right, and they did really well with that. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out the trainers because it's not often the trainers get the credit that they deserve. But I think he needs the credit because we've seen some good performances, and Nathan's really good as well, isn't he?
Mm.
Nelson, who's Nathan? Nathan on the brain. But yeah, another upset on that card. Elliot Elimasi obviously went in there. The main event is his name. I think that a couple of people were saying that he said that he wanted to get the stoppage, he wanted to make a statement, and then in comes Santana, an unknown really. However, when I looked at the records, because obviously I've got the sheet in front of me, I thought these two are kind of similar records. So can you really say that this gentleman is a journeyman? Obviously, all of that was off camera. We saw what happened. Elliot started fine. Like I said, he was taking a couple of shots. He did start to look tired. Don't know what that was. Like I said, the heat in there, whatever. He looks too big for a light heavyweight, in my opinion, anyway. But it was the culmination of shots that's coming in from Santana, not necessarily power, because I was sitting next to, I think it's Khalid Ali, that's a friend of Elliot's, and he was saying he's not doing much, and I was like, but he's not going away. He's not going away. It's those culmination of shots. It doesn't matter when it comes to power. The boxing is going to kick in, and I think, yeah, I think that was it. It was just too much, and he just didn't have the answers for it. I watched the fight back just to have a look because obviously I'm behind him. When he gets knocked out, I'm behind him. I'm not seeing what's happening to his eyes and his face from the front camera. So I think the ref should have definitely have jumped in quicker, a lot quicker than she did. But the view that I had from behind, it just looked like he was tucking up. When you're looking at it from the front, he was gone, like knocked out on his feet and head first out the ropes. And coincidentally, I think it was you that said it, Danny. It was his first trainer that caught him in his arms. Mad.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, very interesting fight. Javier Santana from Spain,
Yeah,
21 years old, 1, 2, and 2. His first two fights was draws, so we don't know what really happened there.
there you go.
Could have been stitch-up jobs.
That's what I'm saying.
If it's two draws in a row in your first two.
Mm.
Then he had two losses. Then he got a win last time out, and then
Upset a prospect, didn't he?
yeah,
Like a newbie.
dropped a house fighter. I don't like calling these guys prospects anymore.
Yeah, I know what you
Um,
mean. It's a debutant, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like the house fighter. I beat that guy, dropped him in the last round, and then he got his first inside the distance victory Friday night over Elliot Massey. And Elliot, he great first round, landed some powerful shots, seemed to sort of stun, rock Javier Santana early and stuff like that. Didn't like the sort of punches. I remember you saying his legs didn't look like he was liking what was coming back. Even towards the end of the round, he knocked out his gum shield,
Yep.
and he sort of signaled to the ref something to like stop, where Elliot should have just took advantage and just cracked him.
Yeah, that's what we said. That should have just
Could've-
finished him off.
Yeah, could have got the job done nice and swift. Second round, putting the shots together, put a lot of output out, and the guy had a very tough head. He started to warm into the shots and be able to absorb them. Elliot then it seemed like he blew his gasket because after the second round he was shattered. Third round, Javier then started walking forward, landing a couple of hooks, started looking a bit tasty, looking a bit dangerous, like he fancied it. He obviously felt that he felt a punch and thought, there's nothing left in these. I can take these now. So he started just marching forward, thinking, I'm just gonna walk you down. And then the fourth round, he just started sticking it on Elliot, and Elliot then got caught, trapped on the ropes. Your famous last words was get off the ropes, get off the ropes. There was a few hooks that went in there, and his head swiveled like an atlas on an axis, and down he went, and the ref sort of waved, but she didn't actually jump in physically, and he went down in a heap, and Danny Mack, his ex-trainer, caught him in his arms, and then the gas mask came in. It's a very bad knockout, but he is very big for a light heavyweight. He might need to think about going up to cruiser. I spoke to a couple of people. A few people who's even sparred him and said who were light heavies, and they said, they saw him and they thought this guy is one of these fluctuators where he could look decent in a gym, but then on fight night he's not going to be the same man because he's going to deplete in himself. Because funny enough, if you look at someone who he did fight in the amateurs, in Lucas Rohrig, he decided straight away, because he was light heavy, and he said, do you know what? Rather than deplete myself, I'm not going to stay here too long anyway. I might as well just build myself up and then just start this as a cruiserweight. So I think that's probably the sign for Elliot to think about stepping up to cruiser, because he could definitely do it with his
Shout out to Lucas, man. He's a problem. Come on, base.
I've got nothing else to contribute. I didn't watch the fight.
You didn't watch it?
All I saw was
you saw that one?
I saw the knockout. That was
Oh,
it. And
Okay.
oh,
the famous get off the ropes. And I was like, right, I don't know if he's supposed to be coaching from the commentary desk, but
You know what? I said it. I put my hands up. I said I feel like I need to give him some advice, but I know I'm not supposed to be doing that. But when I seen him get clarted up on the ropes, all of that just switched off, and I was like, "Get off the ropes!"
I hear it.
Like grab and clinch, move, because I knew that it was curtains from when I saw him on the ropes.
I
Yeah,
hear
you
it.
know, the comments were there on Twitter. I was laughing at the
yeah.
comments on Twitter, but you know what it is? It is what it is, and when you speak to a fighter, you want to help them a bit, so
No,
just
I
want to
No,
get
help.
it.
well, if you remember, famously, if we go back to 1989, Mike Tyson versus Frank Bruno the first time, Frank Bruno lands his first punch after getting dropped and mash up. He lands one good punch, and then the commentator's like, "Get in there, Frank!" So
Okay, I'm old school then. I'll
Yeah,
take that.
it
I'll
can
take that.
happen. I
it
mean,
can happen.
it just makes it seem funny. Obviously, now you have a nickname so early on in your career as the main event, and then you end up getting knocked out on the prelims. It's a bit poetic. I mean, look, is he going to? Can he recover from this? Because this is a very bad knockout. I
Good,
saw it.
good
I saw the
point.
knockout. It was very, very bad. Obviously, I don't know how well he was actually doing up until that point, whether he was winning or whether it was nip and
He was
tuck.
winning.
But yeah, look, his issue is going to be at the moment if he's been sort of boiling himself down to
Yeah,
175. That means obviously he can make the weight. Whether he can make it safely or not, he can make it. But that also means that he's going to be a very, very small cruiserweight for a period of time.
yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm he's 23, right? Or is he older?
I think he's 24, nearly 25.
Okay, so
24,
24,
yeah, 24.
25, which means that he's coming a lot closer to being into his proper man body by now. He's maybe got 2 or 3
2 years,
years
eh?
more
Mm,
where you say to yourself, all right, this is kind of where you are. If he's able to get to 175 now, can he put on the weight effectively to be able to compete with those guys that are naturally going to be coming down from 220 to
I
25
don't know.
possibly. That's where I think the
I
problem
hear
might
that.
be. um but I've seen him some of his amateur stuff. I did see his first professional fight. There is something there. I just don't know how much of a something there is after seeing what I saw. And again, with that situation going up to that division, there's not a huge deal of names up there right now, but there's a lot of very good fighters.
Punches.
And
Yeah.
can you hang with those? So yeah, that's kind of what I'll say on that. But I know that he was one of your new favorites to speak to and assess. So how do you feel?
Yeah. I think this is my personal opinion. I don't know why he left his original trainer anyway. So that's my personal opinion on that. Um, he seems like a really good trainer. I saw what he's doing in the corner with other fighters. I've seen him about, and then he switched trainers when he was winning or after his first fight. So he's obviously changed training. He's had 2 fights. I remember Denzel Bentley commentating on his last fight, and Denzel was picking up a couple of like the flaws that were there because Denzel's so meticulous with his eyes. So shout out to Denzel. Um, and I just think those flaws played out more in this fight. So I'm not sure if the change of trainer was a good idea. No, I'm not blaming the trainer because did he turn early? Did he turn over pro too early without enough experience? I understand there's a lot of amateurs that are turning over early in pro now, and that's fine, but they've got the experience. So, what experience has he got as an amateur? Is that enough to push him over into the pros? So that's the only thing that I'd look at. I just think he needs grounding with like the fundamentals. Just really work on those, and it's the build back. He's in 2 tricky divisions, like you said. If he stays at light heavyweight, it's a tricky division because there's punchers in the light heavyweight, but there's also boxers, and it's all right having power, but power won't can only take you so far. You need to be able to have that skill to match it. Then when you go up to cruiserweight, they're heavier punchers. Cruiserweight's known for like the knockouts. So then, okay, you might be good up there with the power, but then you've still got to have those fundamentals really like ground into your every being. So yes, of course he can come back. Age is on his side, but I just think I'd probably just look at the training strategy. That's the one thing that I'd say, because I thought the other geezer that he was with was fine.
Okay.
No disrespect to this one either. I don't know much about him, but I'm just saying. I said it to Connor Walker, Danny and Bass. I said it to Connor Walker. Why did you leave your trainer when you was winning? And Connor bit my head off. He got really defensive. So I understand it's a touchy subject. Fair enough, if you're losing under them and you're not really improving under them, then yes, but why leave if they're okay? If it isn't broke, why are we constantly trying to fix things?
Could it have been a logistical thing?
I really don't know.
Because I know some of them, they change the trainer because they need to go, or they want to get away from the comforts, and they're like, I need to be as far away from where I am. That's what some people do it for, but I don't know about him. But yeah, look, like I said, shout out to Elliot. I mean, for now, maybe we change the nickname to like the comeback kid, or the redemption song, or something like that.
The comeback kid, I like that one.
Because that's what we got. We can't be the main
I
event.
like that.
Not right now. Not 2-1. That's crazy.
Two
All right,
and
so where
one.
we going
Right.
next?
Yeah, main event. The
What?
actual main event, Zach Chelli.
Oh, didn't see it. So you
Yeah,
guys.
Zach Chelli, he'd come back. He kind of like got put in a bin. Was with Boxer. We know the story with them. So he got put in a bin after he lost to Callum Simpson, who's Boxer's guy anyway. Zach Chelli was always a good fighter. For some reason, he changed from his dad. He stopped using his dad as his coach. But this time on his combat fight when he fought Heppel, who brought down a lot of people from up north. So shout out to him. He definitely sold some tickets. They were screaming in my ears for him to like push forward and finish the job. But he's gone back. Young Zach went back to his dad, which was nice to see. We saw some aggressiveness. It's almost like he's got points to prove, and that's what he was doing all the way through the fight. He was almost like, I'm going to prove to all of you like that I am worthy, that I need to be back there. And I think the Warren Boxing management, I think they've signed him anyway, so I think he's with them, and they're looking to probably put 3 or 4 shows on a year to start off with. That was show number 4, and I think the next one's coming up in autumn. So yeah, so good for him. He got the W. Base, you didn't watch it, Danny?
Yeah, I saw it. The main event. Zach Chelli versus Jack Heppel, who was 5-1 going in. Looked good at the weigh-in. I hadn't seen him fight before, so I did expect Zach Chelli to win house fighter. I was surprised he was fighting, still for an English.
He's gone back, innit?
Yeah, gone backwards. After he's beat the likes of the American.
Tony Sims Jr.
Yeah, Tony Sims Jr. No, Anthony Sims Jr. Sorry.
Who goes by the name of Tony Sims Jr. as well, but yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Tony Sims. I thought that's a trainer.
But it's Anthony, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Anthony. Yeah.
Tony?
Oh, okay. But yeah, Anthony Sims Jr. So, he's beat the likes of him. He's been in, matchroom fights, backyard and all that. And then I'm like, okay, you've gone very backwards here with the English type fight, but all right. Dominated the fight, did what he needed to do, put the punches in bunches as he does, what he likes to do. Finally got to him and dropped him in the 10th and last round and stopped him. There seemed to be over the weekend quite a lot of last round finishes as well, which seemed to be a famous round this weekend overall as well. So that's an interesting one. But yeah, Zach Chelli defends the English title. Hopefully he gets to move on up and back, gets some TV slots, because he is exciting and he does bring all action, in my opinion. And I think that he has been done quite dirty. I don't know if his dad may have upset somebody, because he's one of those vocal dads.
Yeah.
Who talks about his son like he is the second coming. But that's just one of those things. So hopefully he gets back in the mix, and he's moved up in a weight division as well now. He's light heavy. So that's another one in the mix. So yeah, good times.
What do you think about him against Ezra Taylor? Or
Hmm.
Louis Edmondson?
Louis Edmondson, that would be a good one because Louis Edmondson, he's going to be forced to, I don't know, fight or flee because
Lapping.
because because actually he's bringing the heat, so there ain't going to be
Yeah.
no standing off. He's gonna move to you. So yeah, that'll be a good fight for Louis Edmondson to show what he's really got because he can't the negative style it wouldn't really work against someone like Zach Chelly who's just absolutely relentless on making
Front
you have
foot.
a fight. Yeah,
Mm,
so that'll be interesting.
interesting. So, guys, I don't know which one you want to go to. I was more interested in the GBM one. I think Nielsen's had a boxing show on as well, but to be honest, I didn't watch that, so I don't know if Danny or Base you want to lead with any of the fights on there. I went into the chat quickly, and the chat was basically saying a lot of these are looking like sparring. So
Mm.
I just like flipped out because it didn't seem as if the fights had that much buzz. But I will shout out Alfie Clegg. I know he won his fight. Congratulations to him. But I didn't watch the other ones, unfortunately.
Yeah, Alfie Clegg, he won on points over the Namibian. That was a good fight. He's looking good under Xavier, looking more aggressive rather than trying to do this boxing on the outside relentlessly. So
Okay.
that's a good look.
Mm,
Also on the card, there was an upset in House Fighter in Kieran Keane 2-0. He lost to Carl Sampson, who was 8-53-1. Um, yeah, Keane 23 years old, Sampson 31 years old. And yeah, it was over 4 rounds, and Samson won on points, fair and square.
okay.
Upset of the night there on the TM14 Nielsen boxing card. Um, Also, the main event of that was Dan Francis from Norwich, the Southern Area champion, versus Joel Kaduya, who's trained by Tunde Ajayi. Um, and yeah, so Dan Francis was 10-0. Joel was 8-0, and that also the vacant Commonwealth silver title was on the line. Welterweight contest, very absorbing fight. Um, Dan Francis coming forward, landing big overhand rights. Joel Kaduya was putting a lot of work rate in, up and down, head and body, was straying low, so got in trouble with the ref a few times. Even got a point off in the 8th round. When it got into the 10th and final round, I saw after round 9, Tunde was screaming instructions like "God," and I don't know what he was saying because I was
Empty
doing a
the
watch along.
tank.
I don't know because I had the I had the volume off. But hey, if Tunde did say that,
It worked.
it worked this time.
Yeah.
You got to have a fighter with an engine. So, and Joe, I'm telling you, one thing he does have is a very good engine because he put a lot of output in a lot of. He's throwing a lot of shots, very flashy, throwing a lot of shots up and down. But I did have Dan Francis up going into the last round. Then,
Oh,
as Dan's come out early doors, in the 10th and final round. Joel's hit him with I'm telling you, he hit him with like a Terence Crawford jab, the one that he landed on Kell Brook. And that sent Dan sort of like
ooh.
reeling, hit him with a double left hook. Dan went over, Dan went over. And then he got to his feet, Joel Kaduya, the finish was sensational.
Okay. Fair play to him.
He hit him with 24, I counted it, 24 lead hand shots, and 18 of those were left hooks. It was just like bam, 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 bam,
Doing the
uppercut,
Josh
bam,
Kelly.
bam, bam. No, it was better than that. It was more than that. He hit
Nice.
him with 24 lead hand shots, no rear hand, and 18 of them were left hooks. And he hit him with the final shot was a lead uppercut. Dan's, reel into the ropes, and the ref
Ooh.
jumped in. 10th and final round. It was come from behind victory, but it was a close fight, close-ish fight. But I had him definitely a few rounds up, and Joel needed that in the last round,
Okay.
especially as he
But
got
he
a
did
point
it.
taken off, and he got the job done. Big celebrations. Everyone jumped in. I saw Archie from Soul Power Gym, Tunde, Anthony Yard was in there, big ads. And I think it was a very emotional thing because, James Cook will be looking down, smiling like, yeah, boy,
Oh,
mate.
he was in his corner as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So,
Wow.
it would have been a very,
Yeah.
very, very fitting time. And Tunde's got another champion, 2 belts in the welterweight division. And yeah, Joel's looking really good. That's his second stoppage, and funny enough, it's the second opponent who's actually come to win, because the first one who come to win was when he was on
Okay.
he made his when he featured on the boxer card, but before that he was going to points. But a lot of guys, those journeymen, they'll try
Yeah.
and they might feel something early, and people's like, he's had what was it, 7 fights and no knockouts, but then he got on the boxer card and he took out the guy, I think, a bit quicker than Conor Walker did. And then obviously with Dan Francis unbeaten, who's sparred the likes of Conor Benn, Josh Taylor, Sean Porter. So he knows, and I know him. He's a friend of mine, Dan. And so yeah, but that was a very good win by Joel. So yeah, well done to Team Stamina for Sale.
And basically, you watched that one as well, yeah? I love this.
Well, I recommend you do go back and watch it though. It's a good fight.
That was
No,
the one on
I'm going to
YouTube,
watch that
right?
now.
Yeah, it was on YouTube on Seconds Out, and Talk Sport was the sort of presenting it. You had Denzel Bentley and
It's broadcast on Talksport.
Spencer Oliver and Denzel Bentley presenting, and then commentating. The presenters was Radio Raheem and Melissa Zad.
Okay. I'll check it out. It's just Night of Champions took my focus, and I had a few other bits and pieces I was doing yesterday. But I'll check it out. I was in the process of watching Brad Ray and Shakan Pitters a couple of hours ago, but had to stop that due to a part of the thing I was dealing with, plus the pup. So yeah, I will watch that later on.
Yeah.
Or I'll finish it off, I should say.
Yeah. Shout out to Gradis Kraus again as well on the GBM card. I watched Gradis and I watched obviously Shakan. So those are the two fights that I watched on there. Please feel free to jump in if you watched anything else. Gradis, once again, really good pressure fighter. I've watched him spar, so I know what he's like in sparring. And obviously I've watched his fights. And light heavyweight, he's an issue because he's robotic. And when I mean that, he's a switch goes off when he goes into the ring. He's very spiteful, naturally evil in the ring. There's no emotion with him. He's just cold. He'll be like, yeah, there's something about him that not a lot of fighters do. He just switches off, goes in there, seek and destroy. A little bit like Daniel Dubois when you talk about that mentality of just cold, just straight in there. And he's proving himself. He got another early stoppage. I hope he gets a fight where he can get some rounds in. I've seen him hold back in sparring when he could have got people out there in sparring as well. But obviously in the ring it's different. He just goes straight in for the kill. But I understand that they need to step him up. Like, they don't want to rush him, but they need to step him up because he really does need to get some rounds in at that division. I don't know, Danny, what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he was fighting some guy McGuigan, the light skinned brother. But yeah, recently
a different name before. Yeah,
something McGuigan the guy had.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've seen him before. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen him fight a couple of times. Now, obviously, you put him on my radar, Gradius Kraus, trained by Peter Fury. Yeah, good light heavyweight edition. Got the slick hair and that, got that.
Yeah, traveller community, but in Holland.
Oh, he's a traveller.
Yeah, sort of travelling community, but from Holland.
Because he's got the traveller hairstyle, but I just thought he was one of them. Oh, them some of them man from around the Netherlands and German. They like that little slick
traveller community. Yeah,
little what do you call it, Max Smelling type hairstyles. So yeah, like even cause he's got that, even that, him and even Lucas, they got that kind of same region face because they're around the same sort of region. But yeah, no, very very spiteful. As McGuigan was on the road, he just bam slammed one in. The ref had to get in there because he was about to make it start getting ugly in there. But yeah, I like the way he's repping the Dutch colours. And yeah, another good fighter trained by Peter Fury. Also on the card, there was another upset though on the GBM Sports with Curtis Woodhouse's fighter, Adrian King.
Of course I do, but I beg your pardon, the heavyweight.
Yeah.
Was it an upset though?
Yeah, because Curtis Woodhouse was saying that he is the second best heavyweight prospect behind Moses Itoma. Everyone look out for him. This guy is he is the best thing since Pyramid Teabags came out.
Yeah, Pyramid Teabags, I like that.
Yeah, so yeah, and then he got beat on points by a guy who didn't. I think his record weren't too bad, though going into it. But yeah, yeah, he got beat. But he's young. He's only 20 years old. The guy who beat him was a lot older, to be fair. But yeah, maybe it wasn't the best of matchmaking. Um, I forgot the guy's record, but it wasn't a bad record. It wasn't like some mad like one in 53 losses type. It was like probably like a 3-5, one of them type of things. So he wasn't quite maybe in journey mode mind mentality. So but yeah, he can come back. 20 years old is a actual baby as a heavyweight. So yeah, it's one of those things.
Now, if you said shout out to you, Curtis Woodhouse put the pressure on him now. Look, now that is a valid comment because I was just about to say to Base, you didn't watch the fight, fair enough. How dangerous, in your opinion, as a hardcore, because you're not a casual, let's face it, so there's a bit of satire in that name. Do you think it is, you like you said, the main event, a name? I understand speaking things into existence. Then obviously his trainer who believes in his fighter, but then we have this perception, but then the fighters are not living up to the perception. To me, that's very dangerous because the rebuild's going to be twice as hard as if you were working silently and letting your work talk for you. But Base, what do you think? That's my opinion anyway. It's dangerous, man. It's dangerous.
No, it's a very valid opinion. And I guess the difference between I guess now and say 15, 20, even 25 years ago, yeah, we had social media, but it wasn't as prevalent. And
For real.
as someone who is a prospect, they could have all the talent in the world, but the only people that know about that talent would really be like the people in the gyms that maybe they're sparring with or that's working with them on a day to day. So they don't get that immediate pressure until they eventually get onto TV, which usually wouldn't be until sort of 15, 16,
True.
17, and or
Yeah.
within sort of 17 to 20 fights before you really get a main TV slot.
Facts.
Whereas now, obviously, people's debuts are getting touted and talking about the next big thing, the next this, the next that. We had it last week with TMA Ayton, the next Katie Taylor. Now, don't get me wrong, she
That's
might
bad
very well
pressure.
be because
Yeah.
because Tia is an exceptional talent, but that's a lot of pressure to put on an 18-year-old. Even to then say, oh well, we asked them to maybe scale back the media for her that week because she was getting a lot of attention. Okay, but you put that attention on her. So if she then faltered or couldn't handle that attention, that comes down to you. So
Mm.
the promoters, the trainers, the manager, everyone's got a role to play in obviously nurturing a talent
Yes,
and
nurturing. Yeah.
curating one. But you do have to, I think, almost, especially maybe in the UK specifically, because we love that the person, the underdog story, the comeback story, the person that loses
True.
and they come back. So maybe that okay, they were the greatest. Now you run the narrative. Oh, they had it all at their feet and then they fumbled. Can they pick up the ball? And maybe you get that second life from them. But I believe more in being um, obviously being gracious and being cautious. I'm not cautious, sorry, being emboldened about the talent that you have, but
Yeah.
just saying, understanding, this is a work in progress. But this person, if they keep on the straight and narrow, keep drilling it in. If they can't stay on the straight and narrow, if they take it serious,
Mm.
if they get their diet perfect all the time, all that stuff, you drill that in and say they could be the one in 2, 3, 4 years time. And then at least that way you have the caveat of okay, they're talented, but we know that they still have flaws that they work on. And that's how I would personally prefer them to
Mm.
talk about the quote unquote prospects.
And Base, I'm 100% behind you on that one. And I think a prime example of that, and I keep going back to this kid, is Lucas Rohrig. I like
Mm.
the way that he's been built, just quietly moving around in the background. His social media, he keeps it kind of, he's on a low, but he's talented and he's working. He knows, he said to me, look, I know that I can't be rushed, but when I get to 10 fights, I can't be fighting people I'm expected to beat. I need to like up my game and have those tricky opponents. But it's his whole attitude of I know where I am, I know my place, I know I'm talented, but I'm gonna let my work speak for me. And to me, that's a perfect model for a boxer. So yeah, I totally agree with you. And shout out to Lucas as well. He signed with
Yeah.
Wasserman, so we'll see when he's out next.
Yeah, and that's it. The guy's name's Adam Kolarick. He was 8-9, but he had eight wins, 7 KOs, and 9 losses. But now he's 9-9, so 9 wins, 7 KOs. So not a bad record.
Not a bad
Bit
one at
difference
all.
there. And 31 years old from the Czech Republic. Also, sorry, I forgot to mention on the Nielsen Boxing TM14 before I forget, there was a battle of the unbeaten's. Shout out to Ra Hockham, who just reminded me. There was Adrian Krasmara, who fights out of the Peacock Gym, Ukrainian. He was 4-0, and he fought Gideon Antwi, who was like an amateur, who was like rated as touted as a decent amateur, who was 2-0. I think he fights out of the Bronx Gym. And yeah, that was a battle of the heavyweights, unbeaten. And yeah, Adrian Krashmara knocked him out in the second round, skinned him out. Yeah,
Skin him out.
quite viciously there.
Wow. I'll watch that one as well then.
Yeah. That was on the Nielsen's, but that one was on YouTube, the YouTube thing as well. So yeah, but both guys, they put it on the line, and yeah, and now because I know that Adrian, he had issues because he last fought in the lockdown. There was something going on. He couldn't get fights and stuff, but now he's had 2 fights back to back this year. So he's saying he's happy that he's getting some work and
Work.
stuff like that. And yeah, Martin Bowers, he was over the moon and stuff, and Denzel Bentley was sort of raving about him and said, yeah, he just needs the opportunity because I've seen him in the gym, what he's done to people. Big guy, but got very fluid, good feet, good technique and stuff, Ukrainian style. So you know how these guys move. So yeah, he's another one to watch out for.
Bowers had one on the Warren Boxing Management card, the Boxing Academy events card as well.
Oh,
So composed. You can see the caliber that he's coming from, the gym that he's coming from with the fighters that are in there. You know it's peacocks. So yeah, so fair enough. You've mentioned that he had. So he was obviously busy this weekend as well because Denzel and Dan Aziz were at the Friday show, so they were clearly working overtime with their fighters.
yeah, and Denzel was on Saturday shows also. Denzel's getting to work while he's waiting for himself to
Fair
get a
play to
date.
him.
Yeah, because he was saying to me, he's like, man, I'm waiting for this date, man. Like, come on, man. But hey, he's keeping himself busy, keeping himself relevant, and because he knows so much about boxing, and he's very, as you said, very meticulous, he's keeping
Chef's
on the
kiss for
brain.
his comms.
He's got a career after.
That's what I said to him. I said to him, as soon as your boxing career is seen out, you're nice, you're patterned because he's a commentator that I will listen to and learn from. And I don't
Mm.
say that about any commentator, but Denzel, the way that he breaks it down, he tells you what the fighters should be doing, what they are doing. He tells you their positives. It's almost like you're going into a teacher's office and getting a feedback on an exam. That's how meticulous he is. So if you haven't listened to Denzel Bentley on comms, I suggest that you do it.
And
Speaking
Ray,
of Denzel, shout out to him because obviously he was on. I don't know if you guys have watched, but the Boxing News podcast normally comes on every Monday. He was on there with Rob Tebbett and
Was he?
yeah, and Andy Lee. Not last week, the week before, 2 or 3 weeks back. Yeah, one of the best episodes they've had in a while. So shout out to Denzel.
Oh, I
okay.
might have to watch that then.
And he would just come back from Ghana as well, where he was doing the commentating out there in his homeland. Guys like David Alorca was there, Radio Raheem. That was for the Ghana Legacy Rise, where you had Andrew Tabiti on there, Ahara Davis. Yeah,
But
so
Howard Davis was fighting.
yeah,
Oh wow! I
yeah.
thought he'd retired.
No, but he wanted a homecoming. He never,
Oh, okay, fair enough. No, I didn't know. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So that was good.
fair enough. Then the main event we had Birmingham's very own Shakan Pitters going against Brad Ray, and this is on the GBM card on Saturday night. For the vacant EBU at light heavyweight, Brad Ray going up from super middle and
No, middle.
middle, sorry. So he's jumped up 2 weights. I do apologise. And it's the fact that I liked one of his interviews. I think it was on the Stomping Ground. To shout out to Bevis that did that interview on the Stomping Ground, just in the clip on IG. Basically saying since he lost to Tyler, he was put in the bin and he was forced to sit at home, watch all of these fights, and see everyone in the place that he knows that he should be. So this win, getting back out there, means so much to him. And look, I'm an avid Shakan Peters fan. Shakan's from Brom. You know, I have my bias, but absolute amazing credit to Brad Ray that went in there. And to be fair, it was a good war. The cards were close. You know me, I don't do scoring. I'll leave that to you guys. But it was a lot of to-ing and throwing, a lot of fight of two halves. And I think in the end, it just worked out to who was willing to dig the deepest the most to get the win. I don't know. Did you watch that one, Base?
I was in the middle of watching it. We was talking about that a few
Oh,
moments.
yeah, sorry, you've got to go back, ain't you?
Yeah.
What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, Brad Raya, right place, right time. As we know, Shakan had a sort of horrible time trying to actually get this title fight over the line. Originally meant to fight the Frenchman Daniel Santos. Um, Originally, Santos pulled out. Had to pull out due to medical reasons. Second time round, Shakan had to pull out with medical reasons, and that's when Brad Raya stepped in on 5 days' notice. Went down to the York Hall, waiting for the fight. Santos decided he's not coming out of his changing room. He don't want to fight. Brad Reyes. So then he then got stripped of the title. Brad Reyes, because he was the only person who was willing to take the fight in 5 days notice, so he was rewarded with a title shot against Shakan. And I thought that it was going to be another Midlander beating Brad Reyes, because Tyler Denny beat him originally, gave him his only and first loss down at middleweight.
Yep.
He jumped up 2 weight divisions. He's 6'4", so he would have been struggling to make that weight division. Shakan Peters, 6'6", had the height and reach, very wide back, abbed up, looking very chiseled in the weigh-in. But then, what did surprise me is in the opening rounds is Brad Raya was
Sorry if you can hear Formula One's on in the house, and I've got a house full of Formula One fans, so I do apologise if you can hear any background.
Don't let my little son hear that. He is
I've got
F1
10 people
fanatic.
watching F1.
He's waiting to watch that film next week. Funny enough,
good film.
We're going in a bit.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna watch it next week when his brother takes him. Brad Raya was on the front foot, landing combinations, 3s and 4s. Shakan looking for the pull counter, but wasn't quite finding the target as Brad Raya was rolling and stuff like that. Shakan was getting behind the jab, but was sort of straying along the ropes a bit too much for a man who's naturally the bigger man, the taller man, and the more heavier man, naturally, I would believe.
Yeah.
He was letting Brad Raya sort of dictate the pace and sort of force him back, and was given the early and sort of was losing the early rounds. Shakan did then start holding his feet, standing his ground, working on the inside. Both men working on the inside well for two tall guys for light heavy. They both started doing some good inside work to the body and head. Shakan then started getting the better of it, actually putting his punches together. Late on in the fight, about round 8, as Brad Raya threw a right hand, Shakan sort of did a pull counter right, boom, busted his nose.
Yeah, he does that. Yeah,
busted his nose. Claret started coming out of Brad Raya's nose, and that's when Shakan started to come back. But then I think he won. I gave Shakan the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. But then Brad Raya really started slamming on some hooks in the 12th round and took the 12th round. I remember even early he caught Shakan. I think he like the second round with a big hook. Shakan felt it a bit, but maybe because Brad Raya's natural middleweight, if he was a bigger guy, he probably would have done a bit more damage. So, yeah, it was a close fight. Scorecards was 115, 114 on 2 cards, and 115, 113 on the 3rd card. But it was all unanimous for Brad Raya, who's now the new European light heavyweight champion. As you said, he was in the middle of no man's land, and now he's going to be ranked in the top 10 in every governing body. Straight away, me, got on the blower to my guy and said, "Hey,
jump on the pod."
No, I'm saying no. You need to tell them lot. Yeah, the zone fight. Yeah.
Oh, I hear that.
Yeah, Matchroom spoke to Craig Richards. Yeah, you need to get Brad Raya in there, because I know Craig wasn't really too keen on if it was Shakan because it's going over old ground. But I said, well, you ain't fought this guy before, and he's like, yeah, I'm on it. Yeah, let's get this. So
you know what? I like what you did there, because I saw you in the comments and the comment section, because obviously you put up the 2 upsets, and Lyndon Arthur got a bit mouthy in the comments and Imagine this. Imagine someone from Manchester talking about a Birmingham accent. So anyway, so Danny was straight in the comments and said, "Oi, we never mind that. What you saying about Craig Richards? Silence."
Yeah, I said this is the fight people want to see. How about we get that on, Lyndon? And
I like
yeah,
that
game
fight,
set match.
I do like that fight between them two, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, congratulations to Brad Ray. Commiserations to Shakan. He's been through so much, like personally, losing his father. He lost his sister, a couple of years before that. He's had a rough time. He was hospitalized himself. All of this he spoke about. And to still go in there and put on an absolute war, entertaining for us guys, you've got to respect the two. Does it warrant a rematch? No, I think it's time for both of them to just find their paths and run with it now. Yes, we want to see exciting fights over and over again, but I think that's just it's done what it needed to do. But hopefully we'll see Shakan back out again soon, guys. Danny and Base, because the Americans is your forte, especially Base. Base is like our US correspondent based in London, UK. So I'm going to ask you, Base, to like jump in my screen and you start talking about the American stuff so I can minimize my. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's
Well,
go.
funny enough, I didn't actually watch too much of it. I saw, again, as I said, I was more engrossed in sort of Night of Champions and then late night, as we know. I
Mm,
watched a lot of the prelim stuff. I got back to see the highlights of the main, obviously, card. Obviously, with it being pay per view, I decided I wouldn't purchase it, so I stuck to that particular principle. However, there were some very good fights on there from what I saw. Now, the first one, I guess we could probably talk about. Just as a side note, very quickly, Holly Holmes came back after 13 years away from boxing. I think it was, or maybe 15.
12.
Is it 12? No,
Yeah.
she.
Jeez, that's a
Oh yeah,
long time.
2013
2013.
was the last one. Yeah, 12 years, 12, 13 years. Um, but now back in boxing, and she won on. I think it was every scorecard they gave her was 100-90. Um, which was surprising. Obviously, going there against a 10-0 Mexican, you'd expect you going to have a bit more problems than she did have. But fair to her, she did her thing. That was the main event of the prelims card.
Mm.
Then let's talk about the 1 round blowout at the start of the main card between Floyd Schofield and Tevin Farmer. Danny, whether we've seen the fight or not, I don't think it matters because it lasted all of like 98 seconds, I think. So, what did you think of the of Floyd Schofield's performance and the fact he was very, very emotional in tears at the end when they announced his name as the winner?
Yeah, I saw your basis picks. I did think Floyd Schofield was gonna win, but I did think on points. As we saw, Tevin Farmer gave a very good account of himself against William Cepeda in over 24 rounds. The first fight, I even thought he could have maybe even nicked it.
It was
Mm.
22 rounds, so the first
Oh
one was
yeah,
a 10 rounder.
oh yeah, sorry, 22 rounds. And yeah, we couldn't put a dent in Tevin there, even though his stoppage record was very high. But yeah, 30 seconds in, Floyd Schofield's hit him with a big right hand, and down he went very heavily. I was absolutely shocked. I was like, oh my good grief. He went down very hard. I was like, oh my word, he's got up, um, you know, sort of having the sort of tick thing going on. The commentators thinking he's nodding that he's okay, but he was saying to the ref he's okay. Floyd Schofield's jumped on him, a few more big hooks, down he's gone again, and he's got a very wobbly this time. But the rest probably thinking because it's Tevin, give him a chance, and then Floyd Schofield's gone in there, boom, boom, and that was all he wrote. I can imagine Papa Schofield was, you know, see, I told you,
You mean
Shakur.
Mama Shko?
Mama Schofield, Shakur, Shakur. I told you. But yeah, very shocking result. But yeah, it was very emotional. The post fight interview where he was talking about the comments about what happened in February, where he had to come off the card due to illness. and he
Okay.
felt like not being in this world anymore, sort of, taking matters into his own hands.
Oh,
He,
bless him.
yeah, he spoke about he wanted felt like retiring from boxing. I remember a lot of this stick is coming because of his dad, because him as a person, actual Floyd himself, Junior, he's a nice little kid. You know what I mean? Kid Austin. He's a nice lad. Um, but yeah, it's good to see that he's that would have relieved a lot of emotion. And he said that he was upset that he did have to fight Tevin Farmer, who he looks up to as a friend, probably as a very big bro. Um, Tevin probably thought he was going to school him, but yeah, sometimes it's the young man's game, and yeah, Floyd Schofield's putting name on. So now everyone's now thinking, oh, we want to see him in there now with these big boys. We want to see him in there with Tank. We want to see him in there with Shakur. We want to see him in there with these guys. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I mean, if that's the case and we want to see him in there with these people, that's all well and good. But now there's no more pullouts against H2O Silves. There's no more Floyd, Shakur Stevenson and all of that situation. There's no asking for insane amounts of money against Abdullah
Okay.
Mason right now. Because his reputation is rocky at the moment. Most of that is probably because of his dad, which we can all admit sometimes, the fathers in the game make it a lot harder for the sons to be liked. And he is a genuinely um, good guy just
Mm,
overall. But that doesn't take away from the fact that there's been some ducking, some very, very blatant ducking that's gone on in his build up so far, whether that's on his part or the dad's part. But now, after doing what you did to Tevin Farmer, being like the first person since I think what his sixth fight to stop him, there's no going back. So shout out to him. Well done. Red, I know you obviously didn't watch the card, but did you see the highlights of of the knockout or the knockdown?
yeah, I did, and I wasn't comfortable with seeing Tevin like that. And I have the utmost respect for all fighters, but I'm not sure if Tevin should carry on. He's a veteran in the game. We know what he has done. We know he's a name. We know him. I'm just not comfortable, obviously, with him carrying on. I know that he's a bit cross-eyed anyway, so I mean that with no disrespect, but I just think just probably just allow it now.
The one good thing about Tevin, if he was to, as you say, just allow it, like he could do some commentary, some analyst work. He's actually
Yes.
funny. If you guys watched the last press conference, I don't know if you guys watched it. Every time someone was coming out, he was singing along to their entrance music.
Was he?
It was
Okay.
hilarious, especially when 50 Cent Many Men came on and he's singing out a beat and it was hilarious. But
Okay.
he's a character,
Yeah.
if for nothing else, and he's got his property business as well, so he's not necessarily short of a few quid. So he definitely can make his way. If whether the money that he got from boxing is enough, which I would assume he made some decent money, but I'm saying he's got that business there as well, so he should be good. Hence why he was able to be out of the game for like 3 years or whenever. Um,
Yeah, and also I've seen his where he lives, his house. He's got money, and also he's got a YouTube channel with his wife,
yeah,
Oh, good.
which seems to be doing very well as well. Gets big numbers.
yeah, I used to watch it.
Yeah,
Okay, now the fight that I guess for me came out of nowhere, but I was interested just because of the press conference, and I can't remember the other guy's first name, but his surname's Rodriguez. But it was
yes,
Avius Griffin. Or
Julian Rodriguez.
That's it, yeah. Now that fight, I was intrigued about because the guy, Avis Griffin just reminded me of a member of the Migos. I was finding it hard to take him serious. I had to do some research through the record to see if there's any names I recognized. There wasn't, but there's a story behind him. Supposedly wrongfully imprisoned, incarcerated for a period of time, and all of that stuff. So I wanted to see kind of what he had, but Rodriguez was giving me that proper like Jersey, New York, Philly energy, that tri-state area, and I was like, okay,
Okay.
I need to see what happens here. And I saw the highlights, and yeah, that was. I won't even say it was a come from behind because Rodriguez, to me, from what I saw, looked like he was winning a lot of it, but Avis Griffin was having some good moments. He got a flash knockdown in there, but then last round he gets caught with a big left hook, which basically buckles him, wobbles him, sends him onto the ropes. He's trying to cover up. He gets hit with a. I think I remember seeing a two piece and then a shot come round the side, which basically took Avius, knocked him through the ropes out of the ring.
Oh yes, in the pictures.
Yeah, and he's stumbling, all trying to get up, and eventually he gets to it. He gets up onto his feet and then drops back down again, just like in a Rocky movie. And you got Rodriguez on the, like beating his chest. I don't know if he called out Jake Paul after the fight, but I know that them two was getting back and forth at the press conference. So I found what I saw of the highlights incredibly entertaining. I've got my app that I'm going to go and watch the full card on afterwards to sort of get a full picture of how it was. But from what I saw, it looked like it could have been the fight of the night. Danny, what did you think if you saw any of
Yeah,
that fight?
yeah, I did. Me and Craig was on the phone because I was on the graveyard shift. But yeah, we was on the phone, and then I remember because I said he was like, "Oh, who's this guy?" And I said, "Yeah, well, he's 17-0, 16 knockouts." He's like, "Oh, okay." He's from Tennessee, and then Julian Griffiths, 23-1, about 14 knockouts. And then I was like, "All right, this guy's from New Jersey. This Latino guy. Like, it's gonna be interesting." So come out first round, and then straight away Craig was like, I'm not too confident in this guy. I'm not liking the way this guy's shaping up. He's talking about Griffin. I'm like, no, man, he's probably good, man. He's probably good. So yeah, he's doing his thing, and then Craig's still not sold on him, but it's Rodriguez is doing quite well, picking up a few rounds. Avis is then picking up some rounds, and then in the was it the eight was it and then no, there was a round, I think it was like the fifth, where Rodriguez has caught him with a hook, and his hair just started going, and Craig was like, yeah, see, I don't see, he needs to sort that hair out. I thought I had issues. So me and him were cracking jokes. He's like, his hair's going all over the place. And then I mean, in the eighth round he managed to drop Rodriguez, and I was like, see, look, there you go. I think because Craig was
Wasn't
like,
it the seventh? So
sorry, the seventh, but it was one of them ones. I think it was like in the fifth and sixth. Craig was talking. He was like, he goes, I ain't seeing this power he's talking about. I said, yeah, maybe he might one of them Cepeda guys. He goes, yeah, I said maybe he's just been hitting some. He goes, but maybe it's one of them ones where he starts luring you into a full sense of security, and then he just walks you into one. I said, yeah, probably. And then when he's dropped him now, I said, yeah, look, see. He goes, yeah, see, it's one of them ones where he's kind of making it so relaxed that he just then walks you into one. So when he's dropped him the seventh, I'm like, there we go. So we're thinking, yeah, he's about to turn it up and deal with him. But Rodriguez has got through the round. And then in the famous 10th and final round this weekend, as you said, Rodriguez hit him with a left hook. And then just, he's like, he's getting skin out. Craig's laugh starts going mad. And we're just going crazy on the phone. And then he's gone down. But yeah, it's only when the pictures come out. The pictures was that
Yeah.
service where they've got the what's it, Earth vodka. Like, look at, they're making it look like he's drunk. Where
Yeah. Because they did it in stages. The pictures were in stages of the drop,
yeah,
like
staggered.
freeze frame.
Yeah, and then
Americans don't care about that, man. They're as bad as the UFC when it comes to that.
no, but it's the Earth vodka sponsorship on the back, because when he's got up, the way he's felt like he's drunk, I'm like, that's looking like he's never get high on your own supply.
Oh no!
Yeah, so and then yeah, Rodriguez
Didn't
beat his
clock
chest,
that.
and then Craig was like, "See, I told you, I weren't this guy. He was looking shaky. I weren't sold on him. He weren't giving me them vibes." I was like, but yeah, great win for Julian Rodriguez.
Can see it there.
Let's put him on the map. Yeah,
Vodka.
let's put him on the map, and yeah, another Southern fighter goes down in a heat, man.
yeah. Red, obviously, I know you didn't watch the fight or the highlights, but just based off the picture, how did you feel?
That Americans are just brutal with the media. Um, like I said, I only know the fight that you're talking about because of the pictures and how they staged, how he went down. People don't usually do that. It's usually a video, and they might slow mo it. But the way that they chop this up into like blades, so we could actually appreciate the fall in a still format is terrible. To be fair, I didn't know either of the fighters, but yeah, good promo, a definitely good promo for the vodka because, like you said, it takes you off your feet.
Yeah, and and we're talking about the media are brutal. We thought Gunman was bad, but good grief, they stole a biscuit this week, didn't they?
bro. Yeah, but the ones that are doing the social media ain't got to go and speak to the fighters after, have they?
True,
Very
true,
true.
true.
That's very true. So, briefly, just Raul Curio, obviously one of the Golden Boys, more sort of well-known prospects. I believe he is a super flyweight or a bantamweight at the moment. He was taking on another guy called Rodriguez, whose first
Mm.
name I can't remember, but he was from Uruguay. Um, Not really much to say there. He got a quite decisive victory. Uppercut broke the guy's nose, I think, in the fourth or the fifth round. He
From
kind
an
of went,
uppercut.
yeah, from an uppercut.
Beautiful. That must have landed absolutely beautifully to do that.
Check your if you check your DAZN app afterwards, they've got
I'm looking. I'm on there.
I was about to say, yeah, the fight highlights. They've got the highlights of the event on there already. So
He came out in the hat, didn't he? Which we
yeah,
know is always bad news.
yeah. But yeah, that was. I didn't see anything else apart from the drop of that. But Danny, just any quick thoughts about Raul
Sweet.
Rio?
Yeah, it was weird that he come out in the hat, the Mexican thing, but he had like this Hanukkah kind of the lights, the kind of Jewish thing across it, which was a
The
bit,
Hanukkah.
yeah, that the Hanukkah thing across the robe, which was a bit confusing. But yeah,
Maybe it's mixed race, Danny. It does happen.
maybe,
Maybe.
um, yeah, biracial. Um,
2025, Danny.
That's true. But yeah, no, I didn't see too much. I remember seeing the beginning of the fight, but maybe I was doing I think I might have went on a patrol because I didn't actually see this fight all finish. But I just remember him in the ring getting announced. And I thought, it's a bit strange, but I didn't actually see that fight. So that's one I do actually need to go back and watch them. But I do one thing when you're talking about uppercuts. Actually, forgot to mention that Sonny Hardy on the Nielsen's boxing. He landed a mad tiger uppercut on his opponent to deal with his guy just before the main event. I remember, so that was a good finish.
His chin must have been tucked to hell to land that on there to break his nose. Because that's clean, because obviously usually you get under the chin, isn't it? But to push his nose like in and straight away the swelling on his face. Oh, absolutely beautiful.
Hmm.
Okay, then all right. So
Oh, look at it,
what have
yeah.
we got after that? Okay, so the what's it called? What they call it? The chief support. Zerdo Ramirez. And Eugenio Dorticos. Now, again, I haven't been able to watch the entire fight
Mm.
yet. Only managed to see some of the highlights. Again, I'll go back. The app hadn't had everything loaded up prior to us doing the stream. But yeah, look, I predicted that Zerdo would win unanimous decision. I figured that the easiest way for him to do that would be to sit inside the range and the reach of Dorticos, very similar to what he did with Chris Billum Smith, and also I guess what he did a little bit with Joe Smith Jr. But ultimately, just to stay on the inside where you've got the shorter arms, you've got the tighter compact hooks, and you've got that engine and the work rate, and don't give him the opportunity to gain full extension. And from what I saw of the highlights, that's pretty much what he did for the majority of the fight. Now, Junior Dorticos, when they was announcing the winner, looked like he wasn't happy with the result, which probably means that maybe in his mind he did a lot better than maybe what he was given credit for. So again, I've got to go and watch the full
All right.
fight
Yeah.
afterwards. But from what I saw of the highlights and how I predicted the fight would go, it pretty much played out that way. Um, Red, again, I know you probably haven't seen the same as me, but just your thoughts on Zerdo, Dorticos, and maybe the next steps for each.
Yeah, I did predict that Zerdal would win. He seems to be all right under Malik Scott, to be fair. So shout out to him again. I think that's maybe his third or so fight with Malik. The only thing that I found disappointing, and I will be quite honest about this, is obviously our young Jay Opataya that's been hunting for, unifying the belts. And then there's like potential talk about Zerdal fighting Jake Paul, which obviously I know you guys are going to move on to. I don't know what's next for Dorticos. He's not probably the most active of cruiserweights, but I do think that Zerdal should be looking at Jay Opataya. Yeah, so I don't know, but boxing is the entertainment business, isn't it?
Now I know Jai was supposed to be in attendance. Him and Mick. They said they was going there.
Yeah, they did.
I again haven't seen the broadcast. I don't know if they did try to get into the ring,
Don't
and
know.
maybe I was told no or whatever. But I have seen that some statements have been put out after the fight from
Yeah.
both Jai and Mick, and saying, "Look, let's get these unifications on. No more excuses." Um, I know Oscar De La Hoya a couple of days ago pretty much said that that fight wouldn't be happening. Um,
What did he?
well, he said they said, look, if he comes through this fight, is he going to take on Jai Opetaia? Will that fight be next? And he goes,
Yeah.
I can't guarantee it's going to be next, but I want to make that fight. That's Oscar De La Hoya talk for
Saying
that
no.
fight ain't happening.
Mm. Yeah, because I remember on just before Zerdo got in the ring, they was asking Oscar, yeah, what's the hold up? What's like when we're gonna get this fight? And he was like, "Oh well, yeah, Jai's a great fighter. He's been doing his thing over his side of the oversight over his side of the world. He's looking really good. And yeah, we want these big fights, and we want to make it happen." Blah de blah de blah. And I'm thinking maybe Jai's there with Mick because because the way he's talking, he's not talking any smack. So I'm thinking maybe he's like ringside or something. He's like, yeah, he's a great fighter doing his thing. Da, da, da. It hasn't been Jai's fault why this fight ain't happened, basically. So I was like, okay, all right. But yeah, the fight itself, I remember once again, me and Craig was on the phone while watching it, but it was it was pretty routine. It wasn't very exciting, pretty boring. Craig actually fell asleep during the fight on the phone to me.
Bless him.
Yeah, he started snoring. Um,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Sounds like them long distance girlfriend and boyfriend conversations. You know what I mean? Where one of you anyway, it doesn't matter, does
well,
it?
sometimes that's why you need. Maybe that is when you do need the passion rather than
No
the
passion, no point, right?
no, well, yeah, rather the passion rather than the what do you call it, the peace, because there's maybe too much peace in the ring. So yeah, um,
I'm all about the passion, mate.
let us know in the comment section what would you rather, ladies and gentlemen, passion or peace in your relationships. Um, but yeah, and
Peace
then
when you're dead.
oh
Sorry.
my god. But then what's it? When later on in the fight, Dorticus did start to move to Zerdo and started sticking it on him a bit later, and that's probably why Yorniel probably felt he was a bit hard done by on the cards. But I think it was fair. Even what's his name? Zerdo got a point off for persistent sort of like a holding type thing. So
Did he?
yeah, he got a point of say it was like 115, 110, I think on two cards,
Was he tired?
and then 117. But look, it was a bit boring. I don't. A bit,
Interesting. Because he
I
weren't
think
holding when it came to William Smith. So Dorticos was obviously more competition then.
yeah, because he started getting tight because Dorticus was putting it on him later on. Remember, Dorticus is 39 years old. He's the
We
same
know.
age. He's the same age as Mike Perez. But even though Zerdo is 34, but that's still relatively a good
Boxing
age.
years is miles apart. Yeah.
Yeah, miles apart as a cruiserweight. Um, so yeah, but that's probably why Dorcas felt he might got. I don't think he surely couldn't have thought he won because he definitely didn't win, but maybe he thought the fight was closer. But yeah,
Mm.
I thought the scorecards was pretty fair, but it wasn't an exciting fight, and I even had to relay the scorecards to Craig when I finally managed to wake him up on the phone, and then. I said to him, "Yeah, I think you want to call it a night." I said, "You don't need to really stay up for this main event. You're not gonna. Don't lose sleep for Jake Paul." He's like, "Yeah, all right. Chat to you tomorrow."
Shout out to everyone in the chat. Can you hit the like, the subscribe, the share button, please? I forgot to do that at the beginning. Support all of our channels. We've got Danny Glover from Fight Fan TV. Base the Kid. He's just not a casual. Base
No,
is hardcore.
he
Yeah.
started off his channel as a
I'm
casualish.
not having it.
He's
I'm
way
not
too
having it.
hardcore now.
There's no casual talk because there's no casual talk with him. Subscribe to Base the Kids channel as well, and obviously mine too. But yeah, hit the like button, guys. Share the thing. Let's help each other to grow in passion, not peace.
Boy. Right, look, not to talk too much about the main event. It was where it was. Look, Jake Paul, another victory, unanimous decision. I didn't bother to give a prediction for it. I don't really have much of Julio Silva Chavez Jr. at the moment, just to say what he is. What I will give him, I'll give him credit in the last 3 rounds he did. He did try to put up a fight first 4 to 5 rounds didn't do much. Now this fight I actually did see because the stream platform that I had, I went onto it, and as I went onto live stream, the fight was just starting. Now imagine this was at 5:30 in the morning, which is a
Mm.
damning indictment of the timings. They really don't care about us. But that being said, another good victory for Jake Paul, who look is still a novice. He's a pro boxer. Like I will give him that
Yeah,
distinction. I've and
100%.
I've gave him that distinction from time, but he's given the same. He's fighting the same level of people that regular boxers would usually be fighting after about 13, 14 to 17 fights. So, a former world champion, yes, down at middleweight. And we can't forget that. This is like 3 weight divisions up from there, 4, technically. So, yes, it's a little bit different. It is engineered to a degree, but that's what a quote unquote prospect's career is. It's engineered up to a certain point. Um, I'm interested now to kind of see who he gets next because you can't go. The good thing is, after this fight,
Mm.
there's nowhere else that you can go other than a proper, like, legit boxer.
Maybe
Maybe
Zerdal.
someone that's part time, but you can't. There's no more like celebrity bouts. There's no more crossing over to the MMA. Like now that you've got technically two former world champions on your resume, you kind of got to stay in this lane
It's going
for
to
a
be
little.
Zerdal base.
Well, we can discuss that. That there's comments and thoughts that I have on that. But my point would be, if that's the
Mm.
case, like you can't go back, so we're only
Mm-mm.
ever going to see like proper. When I say proper fights from him, like fights
Yeah,
you might think there's a bit of jeopardy at
meaningful.
least.
Yeah.
The Zerda one, I don't think that would happen next. I think more so, if anything would happen next, it would be a Tank Davis fight because
Serious.
there's it's easier for him. Like you
What have
put
I
Tank.
missed?
Remember,
Where's that come from?
they was gonna fight before Tank got the draw with Roach.
Yeah, and he even called him out again last night.
Yeah, so
Who called him out? Javante.
No, Jake.
Jake called out Javante.
yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of weight disparity is that?
Well, it'd be about
Like
20
seven.
pounds. Because if Tank walks around, say at 165, 170, Jake
Oh,
would have
does
to
he?
come in about. He'd have
Oh.
to maybe do a catch rate of 190.
No, but that's Tank with a belly though.
Yeah, I know that, but
That's his walk around, like you
Yeah,
said,
no,
isn't it?
because
His
you've
walk
seen him in the
around.
kitchen dancing with his belly.
yeah.
Bless him.
But will he think to himself, do I need to be in shape for him? That's what he'll probably be thinking.
I hate to say this, guys, but that is a big money fight when you look at the American audience from both sides. Sorry, but that's a huge fight. It's it's crazy, but it's still huge. Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
So fair enough. That will probably, yeah, whatever. You can't even think linear with boxing anymore. It's not linear. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
And what do you think of it?
Well, the fight. Oh, good grief! I actually locked off after. Yeah, I hung up me and Craig because I said, yeah, I'm gonna. I think I just decided to just do a little bit of work, and then yeah, then apparently WBO going to rank Jake Paul. No, it was top 20. I heard, or top 15. I think he was going to. They're putting him number 15, which makes him eligible to get a shot at a world champion, i.e., if it's Zerdo or Badu Jack. Um, so yeah, yeah, I did read that today earlier today. So interesting, but yeah, the fight. It's to me, it seemed like because I even read the comments afterwards on Twitex, and it kind of resonated with what I thought when I did watch it back because and I thought, it looked like he got paid to not throw no punches for the first 6 rounds, and then said, "Yeah, all right, we'll have a little go towards the end." Because once he did start throwing punches, he won those rounds, Chavez Jr. But he didn't throw no punches and just stood there like a heavy bag, while Jake Paul's like teeing off, not hurting him or anything, just doing defensive drills. was weird. It was like,
Defensive drills. I like that.
yeah, it was looked a bit. That did because people was even talking about the Tyson one looked a bit staged, but this one looked like,
Yeah, they said
oh
it was
man,
staged in the.
this looked choreographed.
But how pissed did his dad look?
Yeah, because remember, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. is the greatest Mexican of all
Listen,
time.
I
It's
would have. I'm not even
embarrassing.
gonna say. I'm not saying it online, but
No. I mean, as
I'm
if I was
expecting minimum belt to come out when he gets home. Minimum.
no, yeah, like yeah, take that bandana off. Don't tell nobody down the bar that you're my son.
His dad looked pissed.
Like, remember, it was embarrassing enough that he got beat by an old retired Anderson Silva back in
Oh,
2021. Now
okay.
you've been beat by Jake Paul. Oh, come on. And
But
the thing is, it's like he sold his soul because I know he could have beaten him. He decided to throw
would
no
he? I
punches.
can't wait for Base to jump in on this because he's going to know more about
He
Junior than
threw no
me.
punches. Like you watch this fight, it looked fake.
They did say that in the comments.
Yeah, no, he did. He didn't throw any punches for like 6 rounds, but then in round 7 he tried to throw a couple, and had a bit of success. But Jake still won that. But then rounds like 8, 9, and 10, he actually tried to swing some big left hooks. I don't know if he was thinking, oh well, maybe this guy will gas out, and then I can just catch him with one, because he was. They were saying, I think someone said on commentary, um, is he's not trying to put his punches together. He's just looking for that one perfect punch. So
Okay.
maybe if that was the case, and that's what they said, his idea is, all right, tuck up, make you expend all this energy now, and then I can catch you with something later on. Um, Obviously, left it way too late. He even said, "Oh, I lost the first 5 rounds, so I had to come back from the 6th round, and I feel like I did enough, but maybe I started a round too late." Well, no, you
Mm.
started 4 rounds too late. You only get an opportunity in the first round to take it off and to have a look. After that, you need to do
Have a
what?
look. Yeah.
Just in case. So,
Otherwise,
um,
you're falling behind
He needed to
already.
put them together like he did against Andy Lee and Sergio Martinez. But obviously, we're
Days are
not
gone,
expecting him
mate.
to. Yeah, I'm not expecting him to roll back the years there. But come on, you could have put him on. You could have stuck it on him a lot earlier than that, man. You was playing along.
It's just his dad's face that got me. Sorry. As a parent, I understand what was going through his dad's mind after all the achievements.
yeah. Um, I guess quickly outside of that, and
Mm.
it's another fight I haven't seen, but I've seen the finish. Deontay Wilder versus Terrell
Oh, God,
Herndon.
yeah, shit. I forgot about that.
Um,
Forgot about that.
yeah, to say that, well,
Here we go.
look, you guys know what I think of Wilder anyway, but to say that there's no athletic prowess left in that man, I think is a
Yeah.
bit of an understatement. From what I
Mm.
saw of it, there's no snap to the shots. The
Nothing.
speed's not where it used to be, which obviously I'd expect. He still can't sort out his frame disposition, or he's not bothering to do so. From what I did see though, he did his jab looked a little bit better than it has done as of late. So maybe that was
Okay.
the Malik Scott influence. But yeah, just the fact that he even had this guy on the ropes numerous times and he basically gets stopped on his feet. Um, hmm,
Yeah.
I think it's a one and done for Wilder now. One more out of the game and then focus on everything else.
Put him in with Joshua.
Well, that's what some of the rumors have been. Maybe you have that one final fight. Uh,
Mm.
so it seems like that's kind of where you're leading, Danny. What do you reckon?
Yeah, was it was a disappointing performance. I saw like highlights and stuff like that. Um, yeah, the definitely the explosiveness of the 1-2 is not where it was anymore. It was like it was a 1-2, whereas before it was boom boom. Like so that he's definitely lost speed, which is very sad to see because that was the main part of his game, which we all like to see.
Mm.
One thing I do say, he's improved his jab, and another thing I'll say, which he's probably improved, which is probably under this new trainer, he has improved his left hook because he did manage to drop Terrell Henderson with a left hook, and he also got him again with a left hook when he started sort of pummeling him on the ropes because he dropped him twice before the actual the actual finish sort of thing, but in different rounds. But yeah, he's still got this weird thing where when he had him in a headlock, he started sort of doing this weird sort of
Yeah.
pinata.
It's like he's got that. You know when you break your arm in them comedy films, you have the two sticks that hold up your arm. Have you ever seen that? That's his stance. Yeah,
Yeah,
weird,
yeah, it was like like
weird,
Hangman. He was doing the Hangman type thing, and it's
bro.
like, oh, you do, oh, you go like this, where you go, a little body pop move. He's like doing that on the bread on the side of his head. What on there, sir? Um, but yeah, maybe he just needs to get this AJ thing done, get that get that done. But listen,
Yeah,
people talk about all these deficiencies and oh yeah, Wilder this, Wilder that, but at the end of the day, Wilder came into boxing. He said he just wanted to make a few quid to help fund
he
his
did.
daughter's medical bills. He did had no intention of becoming a world champion. In that process, he managed to win a bronze medal in the Olympics. He's managed to be a heavyweight world champion in America and won it properly, not like how Charles Martin did, where the guy took a step forward and broke his knee in a freak accident. He made untold defenses, pay per view, um, made big money, and he's achieved. Um, so yeah, he's
He's
overachieved
done what he needed to do.
done more than his mission,
Mm,
especially out of someone from Tulusco, Alabama. There ain't no fighters
tus-
coming out of there,
tus-
in the South. The man are, in the cornfields, making moonshine. But he's done very well for himself. So pick
wow.
up the Alabama
Don't
Slammer.
diss the conch. The conch
No, no,
hold
no. I'm
the
saying
most
big up the
militant
Alabama
of
Slammer.
people.
No,
Us country folk.
I like country guys, man.
Country's the best because
Yeah,
we're hard out there.
no, listen, and listen. I rate what he's done,
Passion.
and he's brought the excitement to the heavyweight division.
Yeah, he did.
Say what you want, he was bringing the excitement. When you
Yeah,
watch
he
a Wilder
was.
fight, you're thinking, yeah, someone's getting splattered. So he's given us some great nights. But yeah, get the AJ fight done. AJ, I
I
imagine,
think
would
so.
probably knock him out now,
Yep.
and then AJ can fight Fury in their last fight, and then him and Fury can go off to the sunset because this era of heavyweight division is coming to a grand closing.
Of course it is.
AJ, Wilder,
They don't want to let
Fury,
go though, Danny.
Dillian White. Um,
Mm,
Obviously, Usyk's 38. He's not looking like he's slowing down, but he's probably going to pack it in after
yeah.
maybe one or two. So yeah, and then it's on to the next gen. So these guys just need to hurry up, get this over, done with, and do their thing. But big ups to all of them.
Oh, before I switch it back to you, Red, and you can sign
Closer.
us up because I know that you like a heavyweight and you like to look at the next crop. Did you by any chance watch the Joshua Edwards fight on the prelims of the Jake Paul fight?
No, but do I need to, base?
I think you will. I think you'll like Joshua Edwards.
Oh,
He's
okay.
6'3", about 220 pounds, dark skin.
Is he from Congo?
No,
Congolese.
he's American.
Oh, it's
Oh,
FBA.
Yeah, but I
um,
think you'll. He's from Texas, so I think you.
oh, hold on.
Oh,
No, no, just tell me the name again so I can have a
oh,
quick look.
Joshua
Houston,
Edwards.
Houston,
Who?
Texas.
Joshua Edwards.
Oh, let's have a look.
He's from Houston.
Just have a quick look. Ignore me
Okay,
when
yeah,
you're.
yeah.
He's been boxing since I think he was like 6. He's 25 now. He's
Oh, he's
former amateur
experienced.
Olympian for the States, signed by Golden Boy.
Oh, he's just signed him. Yes, I have cast my eyes over that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
calls himself the Rocket. Obviously, Houston Rockets, so it makes sense. Yeah.
We'll have to see how
Well,
far
his
he
fight,
can go.
he had a good knockout in his
Did
fight.
he?
So it was a one round, first round knockout. So
Okay, I'll need to check that one out then. I didn't see that
but
one.
he's got some decent footwork. Like him versus Atama in like 4 years,
Oh, you reckon?
3-4 years, I could see it. They were part of the same generation now, so
Oh,
Yeah.
he's south.
and,
Yeah, he's south.
and you would have to do it before obviously he hits 30 because Moses will be like 24, 25. So
There's
he
a bit
has.
of David Banner about him. Good spot, base. Good spot.
You're welcome.
Anyway, followed. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that have tuned in, thank you so much for your time this evening. Like I said, please hit the like, the subscribe. We do this show probably once every couple of weeks. Just keep your notifications on. We're not going to stick to a strict routine because one of us will flop, and it's probably going to be me. I'll put my hands up. But when we're here, we are here and we are here in full force. Shout out to everyone in the chat that's put their 50 pence worth in. We value all of the comments. Even though we can't get through all of them, we value every single one of them. It's been an absolute pleasure to be joined by Base, who is not the casual, the kid, Danny from Fight Fan TV. Ladies and gentlemen, until the next time, au revoir. Over to you, Danny.
And there you have it, guys. It's another episode of Fight Talk Live. It's Danny Glover. It's Base the Kid. It's October Red. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know where it is.
I'm a casual.